The reason why I said my concern was valid was because the moment he was away from them and on a ship in sea, he found out that the leader of the Imperial Army and the men he was with were planning to take him to his uncle and plan a rebellion. He was basically going to be a hostage. They even injured his mystic beast. They were trying to put him down. They were going to take him to his uncle who was planning to lead a rebellion. Luckily for him, his martial sister showed up and got him to safety and took him to his father. It would have been better for them to go on with the third martial brother instead of going to the temple, because the temple's residents want to imprison the Melid because they found out he is the demon lord, or the reincarnation of the demon lord, and will one day awaken as the demon lord. And this is why the headmaster wants to kill the Melid, is because he knows for the fact that the Melid is the reincarnation of the demon lord, or would one day awaken as the demon lord. So he does not want this to happen. They do not want this to happen, but instead of killing him, they want to imprison him. And obviously the main character is not going to allow this, because again, they are punishing the Melid for something that the Melid can't control, that the Melid has not done, or something his past self has done. He's not going to allow it. And so they have to fight themselves out of the temple, and they end up in the abyss. Now, before they had left out to the temple, a demonic converter had attacked the city and had killed somebody. And with the help of the temple sword, the junior sack leader, the kiddo, and their sack, they were able to capture the demonic converter. And then he had passed away when he got into the hands of the city lord. In the abyss, the main character and the Melid both got illusions. The Melid gets an illusion of the main character turning against him and siding with everybody else and attacking him, killing him, and pushing him into the abyss, which kind of reminds me of a scum saving system. I was like, oh, this is just like when the main character stabbed the Melid and pushed him into the abyss, or what happened to the Melid also in the original storyline, where the original host had basically shoved him into the abyss to his death. That literally reminded me of it. And then when he's walking through the abyss, dealing with demonic converters and them hailing him, and also demons hailing him, and him realizing he's becoming his most fear, which is not just the main character betraying him and abandoning him, but also turning into the demon lord. The main character also gets an illusion, and he sees a version of the Melid as the demon lord, and this demon lord is telling him, hey, you do what I want, give me your body, and I will not attack the people. I will not set my army against the people. And so the main character agrees, and he carries the main character to the bedroom and throws the main character on the bed. And the main character keeps telling him he's not the Melid. The Melid will never become like this. And he tells the main character, well, yeah, because the Melid is dead, you killed him. And the main character says, I would never do that. I would never kill the Melid. I would never harm them. And then they awaken from their illusions because they both attack the illusion. They both awaken from their illusions, and the Melid, he doesn't want to talk about it. And the main character forces him to, because he knows that even though they trust each other now, this could cause an issue and a problem. It could cause a rift for them, because again, he's traveled to different stories. He can see when characters don't talk to each other, even if they did have trust in each other, issues and problems could cause a rift and cause them to turn against each other and cause problems. And he knows this could become them if they don't speak. And I was so pleased, because that frustrates me in stories where characters think not talking about something or bringing something up will be good for them, will not cause them issues because they trust each other, but then it causes rifts. And the main character enforces the Melid to tell him what he's seen in the illusion, and the main character also talks to the Melid about what he saw in the illusion. And so they're more stronger of a relationship than they had before, and I was so happy about that. It also makes me think that the illusions they saw were from the original storyline, or could be their future, what their future could be if they didn't change their future. And they both acknowledge this themselves, that this could have been their future, but they have changed the future because of their current relationship. After they deal with the illusions, they also come across a living Buddha. Basically, this is a Buddha that has been mummified, and is still alive even in a mummified state, even in a mummified state in a statue. If you ever watched Inuyasha can explain it better than I can, and that's why I'm calling him a living monk, is because that is what the character is called in Inuyasha. And just like in Inuyasha, this living monk turned out to be evil. He turned out to be demonic. At first, he has the main character believing in his story, but the male lead, he's not falling for it, especially since the temple residents had informed the male lead that his truth eye thingy is the works of demonic arts. And this guy is claiming that he, created it, and that temple residents are using the wrong stuff. Like, they're not using the actual correct methods. They have the wrong stuff. And the male lead is his true only heir. And the male lead doesn't believe him. Like, he believes what the guy was saying, that he's the chosen heir, but he doesn't believe that this isn't a dangerous thing. He also calls out the dude being evil. And after being called out evil, he trues that, yes, he's evil. That the dude who sealed him for good reasons. And he wasn't betrayed and backstabbed. No, he was the one who betrayed and backstabbed the dude who sealed him. And so they get into a fight. And like, the demon lord inside the male lead had to awaken to protect the main character and the male lead from the living Buddha, and then disappears. Like, that whole demon lord essence things disappears, and it goes bye-bye after he helps the main character and the male lead. And also the main character's master, his Sujin, shows up to protect them and save them. He also destroys the temple. He very much destroys the temple for their actions against the main character and male lead, and he takes the main character and male lead back to their sack. And the male lead, Shujin, finds out that the male lead has gone down the demonic path and is possibly the future demon lord, and he doesn't care. He will protect his student. He will do anything to protect his student. He chooses his student over everybody else because he knows who his student is, and he knows his student will never become what people state his student will become. When the male lead awakens, he tells the main character that he's going to basically destroy his convention and just restart from the get-go because he's in the demonic path. He's starting the whole 9 heavens thingy that is a bad thingy, and he doesn't want to continue the path. The only way he can really do the path is if he has a dual convention partner. He doesn't specifically tell the main character this, but he has to basically live off somebody else's life force, someone else's convention. Basically, it will turn him into a monster unless he has a dual convention partner, somebody who will go through the convention with him. And the main character offers this to him, but again, the main character doesn't know that it's dual convention, and the male lead is refusing him. Like, no, we're not going to do this. I'm going to just start from the get-go, but the main character's not allowing it. They get into their literal first fight over, and the main character walks away and realizes that maybe he'd been a little too hysterical when arguing with the male lead, but he tells the male lead later not to make any decisions until he comes of age. That until he comes of age, the male lead should not make any single decisions about this. And the male lead feels terrible because, again, he didn't tell the main character this involves dual convention if he decides to continue the path he's on and not destroy the path.